All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. This morning, we're going to talk a little bit about culture. We're going to talk about community building and the importance of how you can build a community around really anything that you're trying to accomplish, whether it's building a business, having an event, um, you know, anything that you're working on in your life that you really want to get some movement behind, get some momentum built behind. It is important for you to build community around it, and that community ultimately will drive the culture of whatever that is, your business, your event, your mission that you're on, whatever you're trying to accomplish. And so this morning, the title of today's show is If You're Not Building a Community, You're Not Building a Culture. And I want you guys to understand that from a business perspective, from a personal perspective, from every angle in your life. The idea of building community around the things that are most important to you. That's what we're going to unpack this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, guys, what's happening? Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you guys are having a great day. It is a beautiful morning here in Pittsburgh. Another beautiful fall morning. It's supposed to get warm again today, but man, you can definitely feel the fall air every single morning when you wake up. And for me, that's pretty exciting. I'm a big fan of fall, so hope you guys are too, and hope you guys are having an awesome day. So I wanted to talk this morning, about the concept of building community around, the things in your life, whether it be your business, something you're interested in. I know a couple people in here are in kind of associations or groups. And the idea of building community around those things that you do is really, really important. And it doesn't matter if you have, just a group of friends that you're trying to, get together on a regular basis. The concept of community is one of the most powerful things that you can have in your life, right? And so, I want to stress the fact of, kind of that relationship between community and culture. And, I'll be honest, in 2021, there is a big missing piece of culture in so many businesses and so many environments and so many groups and companies. And everywhere that I look, there is a lack of true culture, like true identity and culture of companies and people and individuals, right? And so when you look at how we build community around our companies, how we build community around our events or our groups and things like that, it is so important for us to recognize that if you are not building a community around, your company is a great example. If you're not building community around that company, meaning if you're not creating visibility into, what it's like at your company, what it's like to work there, what it's like to be a customer. If you're not letting people into that stuff, then you're really not building a culture, right? Because you don't really have a public identity, right? You don't have something that people are looking at and saying, this is who this company is, or this is who this person is. So if you're not building community around what it is that you're doing, you're probably not building a real culture. At least you're not building one that is as powerful as it could be. And so I want to unpack that this morning in a little bit of detail. But as always, want to say good morning to some folks. Ryan Austin, what's happening, man? Curtis, good morning to you. Got that Steelers win on Sunday for you, Curtis. David Martin, what's happening, man? Good morning from Atlanta. Leonard Pickett, glad to see that you're out of Facebook jail, brother. Good to have you back, man. Scott Rhodes, good morning. Daniel Good, Ed, and Tammy, good morning to you guys. Thanks for being here. My girl, Tammy Clark, here, as always, out on the West Coast, rising early to be here on Morning Perspective. So appreciate you guys, and thank you for being here. So, the concept of culture, it's one of the most important things to me that I have in my life, right? I'm surrounded by groups of people, the companies that I'm involved in, the groups that I participate in, that I am a student in, and then the groups that I run that I am a coach for and a mentor for. It is so important for us to recognize, first and foremost, the value of culture. And I want to lean into that conversation because of the importance of it, because I think in today's world, sometimes we glance over this. But I would argue that the very best companies out there, those ones that really create a following. The first one that comes to mind for me is 1st Phorm, Andy Frisella's company. Those companies that build a culture, a real defined culture, they all have a community around them, don't they? And when you look at, if you guys aren't familiar with 1st Phorm, it's spelled, 1STPHORM. If you're not familiar with 1st Phorm, go look it up and go look at the different ways that company identifies people within its community in order to build the culture that exists within that company. So it's not just the company, it's not just the people that work there, but it is all of the people that follow along on their journey, all of the people that recommend their products, all of the people that follow them online and follow their missions. And so I believe in today's world, if you are not building a community around your mission, you are not going to be as successful as you could be if you were able to build that community. So the question I ask you guys to think about is, what does it actually take to build a community around what it is that you're doing? And it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're in construction, if you have a mission, if you have a hobby, if you have whatever it is, whatever your job is, whatever your hobby is. If you want to do something meaningful in that space, if you want to build a company that is significant, that a lot of people are interested in following along, a lot of people are interested in working for your company. If you want to build that where people are actually interested in coming to work for you, you have to build a community around it. That community will produce a culture that's infectious. When people become part of your community, what the goal is of every community is to make people better. So when you show up and you spend time in a community of people, in a group of people, that group of people should make you better. That is our number one goal at the Pavement Group. We say it all the time. We hope that our employees, stay here forever. But if they don't, and we know that to be a reality, right? Not everybody's going to stay here. But if they don't, what our goal is to leave them better as human beings than they were when they got here. Not just better at their professional skills, but to have a better life. And so when you build a community and you attract those people that all want that same thing, right? They all want to have a better life. They all want to contribute to a goal so that we can give back and make an impact and continue to grow our company and provide a place where people can work that is, quite frankly, better than other places that they've worked. That is our goal, right? Is to be a company that welcomes people into a home that is better than what they had, right? Where they come to work excited about what they get to do. When they come to work and they know that those people they coexist with have their back. That when the going gets tough, they're going to have people around them. That is the idea of community. And so if that community that you have in your mind that you want to build, that community has to have standards. It has to have values. It has to have principles by which it operates. That community and that culture ultimately are one, and it multiplies into a powerful force that can't be stopped. This show in the morning has a community, right? There are a lot of people that follow along. Whether they watch live or they listen to the podcast, there is a community of people that show up here. And you'll see it in the comments. Trisha just said, good morning, Morning Perspective family. And people say that all the time. Why? Because they feel part of a community. People have met here for 399 episodes. And so those people start to build a relationship together outside of this show, because everybody shows up here in the morning and listens, or they tune into the podcast. They start to be able to interact on social media. And there's many people who have showed up for this show and gotten to know each other as a result of it. That is the definition of community. Top Contractor School. You know, we started that company. I started that company 3 years ago. And at the time, I had no idea what the idea was of community, right? I knew culture. I've always been very interested in company culture, corporate culture. How do you build really effective teams, and the idea of culture? But community building, guys, is the next level, right? It is the idea of building a community. The people that are attached to that community start to identify with the messages of it. An example of that is Friday mornings. What do we say on this show? Go out like a lion, don't go out like a mouse. If you know that phrase, you are part of this community. People that aren't part of this community don't know what that means, or they don't know where it came from, at least. So I want you to think about that. What are those things that you can create that are a battle cry, that are the things that make people feel part of something? Maybe it's titles or identifiers that you're able to, give to people. For me, I have a lot of people that follow my public page, which this show broadcasts from, that have the top fan badge. Those are identified people who are consistent at showing up here, right? There are other things that we have in planning for every company that I'm part of that identify those people who support us the most, who are part of the mission that we're on to make an impact in the world. And so as we identify those people, Ryan Austin is on here. Ryan Austin is one of them. Ryan Austin started his own podcast, right? We talked about that within our organization, within Top Contractor School. Ryan took it and ran with it. He's the first person within that group that started a podcast. Well, Ryan will be recognized for that. That's the idea. How do you build a community? And then how do you identify people within that community? I want you to think about that from how you exist in the world today. What are all the things that happen around us, right? Every community has different things. They have different titles. They have different identifiers. They have different people that do different things for each individual town or city or township or whatever it is that you live in. How all of those things are built and the structure of them is really important for you guys to understand and study. And so within your companies, within your lives, within the groups that you start, within the nonprofits that you're part of, this idea of building a community, and I preach this all the time to every business owner that I interact with, the importance of building a community has never been greater. And by the way, it's also never been easier to do with these digital platforms like this. It takes consistency and frequency of showing up, building trust, letting people into your life, letting people into your mission, letting people into your thoughts. I show up here every day and share my thoughts 399 times. So for those people who have been following along for a long time, I think they understand me by now. If it would be challenging not to. They understand where I come from, where my heart is, what I'm passionate about. What are the things that I speak on all the time? And so that identifies over a period of time. It allows people to see. You can show them what you're all about, not tell them. You can tell them, but over a period of time with consistency and frequency, you're going to create a community of people, of like-minded people that believe the same things, that want to live a better life, that want to be a better father, that want to be a better mother, want to be a better husband or wife. Those are the people that are going to show up here in the morning. Those are the people who are downloading the podcast every single day, hundreds of them every single day. When you think about that, how has that community been built? Frequency and consistency. So Ask yourself the question within your organization, your nonprofit, your business, your family, whatever it is that you want to improve or bring closer together. What are those things that you have to do? What are the steps that you have to take in order to identify that? And then what is the power of that? Use a company, for example. We exist in Pittsburgh. We've got a Boston office. We've got a Minneapolis, Minnesota, just outside there, and New Richmond, Wisconsin. How do we build community around those local offices? Well, a great way to do that is to get involved in your community, to give back, to get involved in those things where you can be present in your community. Sponsor things, give back, do the things that create visibility, that allow people to hear your message. And those people that connect with your message become part of your community. If you guys follow the Pavement Group page, you will see that we share things that say, follow our journey, join our mission. And the reason that we came up with that tagline was very simple. We want people to feel part of what we're doing. We want people to follow along. We want people to get excited about the progress that we're making. And it doesn't matter, guys, if you own the company, if you work there, if you follow the company, if you like their posts, if you share their posts, if you tell a friend about it, you are part of that mission. You are part of our mission. You are part of our journey, and you are helping that. And so our goal is to build a community around our company that makes it indestructible. You say there's safety in numbers. It's exactly what a community is. And a community of people will strengthen your culture of your business to a level that you couldn't have imagined. And so I challenge you to think about that today. How can you build community? How can you get more people involved, more people paying attention? And how will that ultimately impact your culture? The first thing you have to remember is that you have to have an identified culture. What is it that you stand for? What are the values that you want to operate from every single day? What are the non-negotiables in your life that you want to operate your own life and your own business from? Because once you understand those values and the principles at which you want to operate your business, if you say them over and over and over and over again, you're going to attract a community of people that want to be part of that. The people that we've hired inside the Pavement Group, every single one of them have said they were interested in coming to work here because their perception was that their life would get better if they were here, that they wanted to be part of the message that we put out as a company. I challenge you to think about that if you're a business owner. So many business owners today, you'll hear this thrown around a lot. I can't find good help. And I would tell you that if you can't find good help, you have not built a community. Because we have no problem finding good help here at the Pavement Group. We have no trouble finding new clients at Top Contractor School. We have no trouble finding new clients at Lead Revenue. And it comes down to you have to be visible and you have to be preaching your message. What is it that you stand for? What is it that you do for people? How will they improve their life by being part of what it is that you're building? And if you don't have that message clear and you're not delivering it with consistency and frequency, then it will be challenging for you to build a community. And it will be challenging for you to find employees. I put a post out on Instagram that I've mentioned a few times probably on this show, but it says, you don't have a recruiting problem, you have a marketing problem. And marketing, guys, is a way of telling your story. It's delivering your message. It's making sense of what it is that you stand for and saying it over and over again. What is the value of working with your company? What's the value of working with your company? How do customers or employees benefit from being part of your community? If that message isn't delivered with incredible frequency and consistency, then you're missing out, and it will be challenging for you to find employees. But don't think that there are not good employees out there, that there are not people out there that will want to work for your company. You are, as a business owner, just not doing a good enough job of getting the message out there. But I promise you, if you switch that up and you are able to build a community that has a clear identity, you will have a culture that becomes infectious, that is clear on what it stands for, that is clear on who they want and who they don't want as part of their company. I say this jokingly all the time, but like people that are negative human beings, they probably don't want to come work for our company, because our group and me would be kryptonite to them. It would be terrible for them to exist here amongst all these positive people. Think about that. If you can create that, then who are you going to attract? You're naturally going to attract all those people that believe what you believe. And as you start to attract those people that believe what you believe, then your culture and your community become literally unstoppable, because everything that it stands for is so clear that the people that don't believe what you believe, even if they find their way into your organization, and I've seen this happen, they will find their way out. That's how it works. They might be asked to leave, or they might leave on their own. Many times they do. But if you are not building a community in today's world, if community is not part of your company culture, like you're not building a group of people that want to follow your company, you're falling short of what your company is capable of, and you're probably making it harder on yourself to exist and grow your company. But if you can do that, if you can build a community around it, you will have an unstoppable culture, and things will get very easy and go very fast. And then you will be making decisions on exactly how fast you want to go. And it will seem a lot less difficult to get there. I hope this message was helpful for you guys this morning. If you found it to be helpful, please, as you guys have been doing, please share this out to your pages. Go over to the podcast platforms, share the episodes. If you have time to leave a review over on iTunes or Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, anywhere like that, it would help more people be able to find this show. And the goal of this show is obviously to impact as many people as we possibly can, right? To connect people to these ideas of how to see the world a little bit differently, to educate them on the things that I've been blessed to learn in my life from incredibly valuable mentors that I've had. And so that is my goal here. And tomorrow, guys, is a big episode. It's episode 400 of Morning Perspective. And so I would appreciate it if you guys would all show up here tomorrow morning, invite your friends. I'll put out, kind of a teaser post of what we're going to talk about tomorrow morning. And if you guys could share that out to your page, I'd love to blow that episode up and get more people watching here. So thank you guys for being with me here this morning. Happy Tuesday to you guys. And I will see you again tomorrow morning for episode 400 of Morning Perspective. I love you guys. Thanks for being here.